for their arrests as federal government assures Nigerians of smooth and peaceful handover to Tinubu. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Olayinka Oyebile. If you're ready, let the hangout start now. Let's begin with government finance and the need to boost revenue. The governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, has decried the low level of revenue generation in the states. Governor Soludo laments that the state internally generated revenue, IGR, is still disappointingly low. According to him, the state IGR, since he assumed office, is not close to 50% of what he anticipated to achieve, which should be about 4 billion naira monthly. Jide, Lagos is set to have crossed the Rubicon of 1 billion naira daily. And Anambra is talking about 4 billion naira monthly. I thought they had a kind of El Dorado in Anambra State, as in a state that was ready, that, you know, could match up any state.
No. You can't even match Rivers. Not to talk of...
in terms of IGR.
You can't match Rivers, you can't match FCT, not to talk of Lagos. You don't, it's like a flyweight trying to get into a fight with a super heavyweight.
With this formation,
the outcome is very predictable.
In a whole month.
You know? So, the truth is, Soludo feels really disappointed that he's struggling. He's struggling to generate 1 billion. You know, the way some people talk about Anambra, you would think that Anambra had been placed right up there, among the very best in our country. But this is one of the parameters by which you can actually judge whether a state is actually viable. Some of these states, if the distributable revenue from the center does not come their way, they cannot survive. They can't survive. There are many states like that. A state that cannot generate consistently at least 2 billion a month. Where are you going to find the resources for infrastructure development? Where are you going to find it? You've got to be able to, as a center of commerce, you've got to be able to do much better than that. And there are many, they have to look at all the so many things. No, the thing is, now, what are we even talking about? Unknown gunmen turning Anambra into their headquarters, Anambra and Imo State. Do you think business people will feel comfortable to stay there?
That's a major factor.
That's a no-brainer. Today, because our friends from the East, they like to open their container on Monday mornings. Monday mornings, you are doing sit at home. That's the day they like to open their container. You do sit at home on Monday. So what did they do? They now divert their cargo to neighboring states like Akwa Ibom. Akwa Ibom has benefited tremendously. They divert their cargo to Anambra, they will go and open their container there. Our friends from the Southeast, they are very ingenious, they are very inventive. When an obstacle is created, they found a way around it. That's why they are very successful in business, because in business, you have to be able to think on your feet. This is the truth. So, the kind of money that you actually come to Anambra will not come when businesses are relocating. Onitsha, for example, is a shadow of itself. The other day, Governor Soludo was lamenting about what Onitsha had become. And we are saying, let's fix this security problem. If we don't fix this security problem, those who are supposed to even site businesses in Onitsha so that the government can make money, they will rather come to Lagos. They will come to Lagos. They will brave all of the difficulties that they are facing in Lagos, the threats of violence, because whether we like it or not, the kind of violent crimes that we see in other places, kidnapping in Zamfara, kidnapping in Niger. Who will tell me that such kidnapping is happening in Lagos, except a person who is born to lie? They don't happen. When was the last time a major kidnap happened in Lagos? I think the last one that I can remember was that retired naval officer that was kidnapped around the Korodu or so, I mean, on the island and via the waterways. It doesn't happen here. But in other places, you can hardly sleep with your two eyes closed. In daytime, they came into Gusau to kidnap one of the aides of the governor just some days back. You know, so this is the thing. If you can fix insecurity, then people will come and do business. There are businesses that are relocated to neighboring Onitsha because even people are sending their children to go to school in Onitsha. The truth has to be told, whether some people like it or not. People are taking their children to go to Asaba, to go and school there. Asaba is just a spitting distance to Onitsha. It's just the bridge that separates them.
Yeah. When you see it and then you see that, look, we have to do so many things in terms of security, infrastructure, and everything to shop this IGR.
You know, apart from that, if you look at those who are even in the on the tax net, they are majorly companies. There are individuals who don't pay a kobo tax. Go to those states, because most of them, as we know, most of our brothers in the southeast are privately employed people who are traders, who distribute this and that. And such people perhaps are not even under the tax net. So definitely your revenue will drop. We have companies that are relocating, your revenue will drop. We have individuals who are private individuals. They don't pay taxes. They are not under the tax net. You will not make enough money. And in such cases, what the governor can do is also to try and take a good census of individuals who have businesses, whether registered or unregistered. I mean, if you open a shop or a warehouse and all that, are these people paying tax? Majority of it, maybe they don't. Or if they don't pay enough tax. And if you are talking of trying to raise 4 billion in a month, you can't even, you can't compare that to a place like Lagos, because there are factories, there are companies, and so on and so forth. I think what Governor Soludo needs to do now, he's still in his first term, and he has ample time to do that, is to take an appropriate census of companies, individuals who have companies either registered or unregistered, who must be brought under the tax net. The problem we are having here is not even the only fact that the thing is dropping, is the fact that there are so many people. Yes, you have those who have relocated, companies that have relocated, but what about those who are there who are not paying tax? You see people, when you take a record, people who are under formal employment, either companies, private companies or government companies, are the people who pay most tax. Even here in Lagos, if there is a system that you can make it in such a way that everybody must be on the tax net, more revenue will come in. But in a situation where you have just very few people and nobody cares about that, because Abuja is coming with money that is almost drying up now. And even if it's not drying up, there are developments that you need to make in your state that you need tax from people to pay.
All right. We are beginning to be inundated by news of terrorism and kidnapping again. In Niger State, bandits have demanded 200 million naira as ransom for the release of 56 farmers abducted in Baikoro local government area of the state. Residents said the bandits called to inform them that one of the abducted farmers has been killed and threatened to kill more if the ransom was not paid in time. When you abduct 56 farmers and they go, most of these stories are not, they are underreported. 56.
Yes, I was reading the Labour Minister, Chris Ngige, saying bandits have gone on recess. And I asked why.
Emefiele said the same thing.
Why? What is the problem with Nigerian leaders? Why do you talk about things that you don't know about, that you don't have the facts? What investigation did Chris Ngige or Emefiele do just to justify a policy that has ruined businesses, that has inflicted pain on our people? You are lying through the teeth. That's what you are done.
In fact, when I read it, I just...
What are you talking about now? What is the meaning of this? The political advisor to the governor of Zamfara was picked up a few days ago. They are kidnapping people right inside Gusau, the state capital. They are killing people in Zamfara. They are killing people in Katsina. If it has gone down in your own area is not the totality of Nigeria. This is Niger.
You know what it means?
This is Niger State.
1, 2, 3 to
56.
10 to 56.
They kidnapped more than 100. Some of them managed to escape. That's why it came down to 56. And it's not... See,
and farmers for that matter.
Nigeria,
look.
The number of people that would have assisted in this kidnapping.
No, the bandits are usually many and they are well armed. Now, let's even to show clearly that Ngige and the CBN governor do not have the facts about things that they are talking about. On 2nd February 2023, bandits abducted people in Tudunmagaji village in Kontagora local government. They went away with people. On 5th March, bandits attacked the headquarters of Maru local government in Zamfara, killing a DPO. 5th March, the same bandits that they told us have gone on recess. On 25th of March, bandits abducted Zamfara governor's essay on political affairs. That's the one that I said some days back, and then they freed him some days later. In December 27, the attack on Kafinkoro,
yes,
where they killed that cleric. They killed the cleric, they burned them inside the building because they were resisted. And since that 27th December, because they also burned the police station, the people have been left defenseless because they had to relocate policemen from that burnt building.
Police station,
In the attacks, they kidnapped up to 100 people in that attack. 2 local government, Rafi and Mashegu. In Kaduna, kidnappings are still taking place. In Ondo State here, kidnappings are still taking place. The day I visited the head of Amotekun, I visited him the last time I went to Ondo State to pick that award. I saw kidnappers that they had arrested. Just recently now. I wish the minister Ngige was there to come and see. I'm talking about I think about a month ago.
Yeah. Because the vast area, the farmland in those states have been taken over by this.
Yes, now these things are still happening. Okay, look at, even there was a report, I think 3 days ago, that in Kogi State they rescued some kidnappers.
Yeah,
I mean some abductees.
Yeah.
It's still happening in Kogi State. Some of these things don't get reported. To give the impression that because Emefiele came up with the cash confiscation policy. Therefore, banditry has ended, is to lie to yourself, is to deceive yourself. Nigerians are still being kidnapped. Nigerians are still being killed. The facts are there. All you need to do in this era of Google is to even recent bandit attacks. You will see all the facts that you need. Instead of addressing Nigerians and deceiving them, lying to them without a recourse to facts. This is what we are seeing. People are still being kidnapped. At least 10 local governments in Niger State. At least 10 local governments.
If you ask
banditry is still taking place. Rafi local government, and other local governments. This thing, even the Kontagora area is even not safe too. How do you then come and generalize that bandit? Which break? They too need to survive. That's their own business.
What is going on there is just like clutching at the straw.
In Nigeria,
just to justify what has happened. That you people were saying that changing or coloring the naira has brought a lot of punishment and all that, but we are seeing that kidnapping has subsided. That is complete fallacy.
If you can even say it has subsided, I may even agree. But to say they've gone on break, so that's a lie.
Now
which break?
You see, and because
yes, I think it's just
because
how can you even say, who even told you they went on break? The ones in Zafara, 2G and the rest of, have they gone on break?
Even this one
just
happened.
Kidnapping.
Which day now? This one just happened recently.
I'm sure
so for you now,
Sam Arua to ask him about his.
He will give you all the
statistics. A catalog. You know, for you,
even right up to election day, they were still
exactly for you now to come out and say that
you just generalize.
It is well, if in some areas it has reduced, perhaps, but to say that generally everywhere, it is not true. It is not true. Because what we are seeing is that even in the media, because people are seeing queues in banks and all that, people are suffering, that perhaps occupied the attention of every other person. Therefore, the issue of kidnap maybe became a secondary issue. But to say that, now, is it that the money that you changed is the reason why they are not asking for ransom again?
You know what they are thinking. Yes. They think that because access to naira has been restricted,
yes,
that bandits will then not find it difficult to operate. They do not.
Like that.
The ones who kidnapped the train passengers,
yes,
it was dollars that they
collected. People,
they are not even. Some people are collecting surfers.
They are not even.
It was dollars that they collected.
Like
those
that.
ones,
Yes.
and they made it clear that you must not collect the money. It's 100 million per person.
Exactly.
You must not collect it from one bureau de change. They have their reasons to protect themselves.
1 million.
And they made away with it.
100 million.
100 million.
Yeah.
Even one of our people, they had to contribute. I don't want to mention that person. A friend of a guy who attends our program here.
So they
had to contribute.
Yes.
The company said we'll pay half. Let his friends go and look for the remaining half. This is what our people are going through.
So, I mean, rather than
even in the southwest here, they are still kidnapping people.
Yes, rather than talk about measures that will be taken to make sure that this thing don't go on again,
a wicked program.
Then you want to justify a program that everybody knows has failed woefully.
Failed woefully. Okay, you said that it was the banks that were holding. Now, are the banks not giving people money now? Has the pressure not eased? I said it that if you make the currency available, you make the money available, it will go down. I can tell you that the problem is easing. I called Abuja, they told me it's easing. I called different places, they told me it's easing. Even here,
all the demand.
To take a while.
Just like anything. People are not depositing again.
Why would they deposit? No, because
did I not? One journalist who has little or no training was said to have attacked me when I said that this will erode the confidence of Nigerians in the banks. It's just a natural thing.
It is.
If you can keep money somewhere and they will decide what they want,
exactly.
what you can
people are not depositing again.
Yes,
just collecting.
You know what?
That's the thing.
You know what?
That's true.
Between now...
Now, has it not happened?
Between now and December, the level of money deposited in the bank is going to drop. The reason
has dropped.
People who don't keep money in the house before, so they will prefer to keep it at home.
Yes.
So there is
our friends in the north who are traders and all that,
yes,
they say they don't like even taking money to the bank because on the way to the bank, some people will get information, they will come and rob them before they get to the bank. So, and in many of those places, you will find that you could be traveling more than 1 hour,
yes,
1.5 hours before you get to the bank. Before you get to find the bank. Somebody, what I didn't even observe, despite living in the between Kaduna and Kano for years.
Yes.
A friend of mine said from Zaria town, as you are driving, as you are coming out of Zaria,
yes,
you will not see a bank until you get to the threshold of Kano. Look at that distance.
Look at
Zaria is like 70 kilometers from Kaduna.
Yes.
Now, Kaduna to 220, not up to 300 kilometers. It's the totality of the kilometers from Kaduna to Kano is around 220, 225.
Okay.
Now, from Zaria to Kaduna is around 70 kilometers.
Okay.
Yes, now. So you are moving from Zaria, 70 kilometers, until you get to the threshold of Kano, you will not see any bank. That means you can't even have any problem and then say, let me dash into a bank and try to solve the problem. So we are looking at more than 100 kilometers of communities that you pass through without seeing a bank.
Exactly.
And it's like that too in many other parts of the north.
Places, yes.
So
now, how do you now instill confidence in those ones? You made a sale of 100,000. You want to go and deposit.
No, people will not keep money in the banks.
All right.
They are not fools.
When it comes to politics, the people of Kano State appear to be masters of the game. After a keenly contested March 18 governorship election, the state deputy governor and the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Nasir Gawuna, has toed the line of honor. Gawuna has congratulated his rival, Abba Kabir Yusuf, of the New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, popularly known as Abba Gida Gida, after he and his party challenged the outcome. A few hours after the governor-elect received his certificate of return, Gawuna congratulated him and accepted the outcome as the will of God. For the presidential election, because what we need to say, it was as if this man, Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso, had, he had his plan laid out. For the presidential election, that party came out and it was spoken. For the governorship election, the beating was comprehensive. And the number of seats in the National Assembly, that's for Senate, for House of Representatives, and even the State House of Assembly, you can't dispute it, that NNPP is firmly in control of Kano State.
No one can argue that. No one. As I've said before, Kwankwaso is more popular now than 2019. And I know what I'm saying, because when you look at back in 2019, he could barely win a local government outside the state capital, outside the metropolis, the 8 local governments in the metropolis. But at that time, remember Madobi, his own local government, Madobi local government, he shares the same local government with General Babangida's spy chief, Alilu Akilu. Is it Alilu or Aliru? Alilu Akilu.
Yes.
He shares the same local government with him, Madobi. Governor Ganduje defeated Kwankwaso in his local government to show you that at that time, the governor controlled the hinterland.
Maybe my producer will try to get the governorship and presidential election result of Kano State.
Now, but this time around, those even in the hinterland, he had greater success in this election in the hinterland than previous election. And I've given the example of Gaya,
Yeah.
where the Senate committee chairman on INEC comes from, is in the hinterland. But the NNPP candidate, Kawu Sumaila, defeated him right there. The same way I had predicted it on this program that I saw Gaya being defeated by Kawu Sumaila. And it happened. So today, what Gawuna has done is the right thing. In Gawuna's local government, Nasarawa, NNPP won by more than 10,000 margin, I think 15,000 or so. So, what is there? In
Dala, your own local government.
In Dala local government, we will see the margin in the, even in the local government of the chairman of the party in the state, chairman of APC. It was another hefty margin. We are not saying this to ridicule anybody, but to show that the preeminence of NNPP is beyond a shadow of a doubt. So this man is strong. He has won the election. Anyone who fears God, this is the holy season of Ramadan. Anyone who fears God will not come and say, no, he didn't win. Gawuna is a gentleman, well loved. Gawuna reminds me of his political father, Shekarau, because originally he was a Shekarau boy. You know, Shekarau is very calm, very calculating.
Yeah. No.
Gawuna knows that this person won the election.
The game is up.
And he released an audio clip saying, look, we've accepted our fate, Allah willed it. Because what is the debate about?
Not 100,000.
Not
200.
This is a lesson.
Yes.
This is a lesson.
A great
You don't even need to beat a person by wide margin before he can confess that he was beaten. It doesn't have to be 10,000. It doesn't have to be 200, 300,000. It's just that our people have problems. If you defeat me by even 5 votes, and I am convinced that look, you are more popular than me, you deserve your victory.
Answer.
Why not? Answer.
That I am convinced.
Yes.
The problem of Nigerian politicians.
The Nigerian politician thinks, some of them think that certain things can be taken away, victories can be taken away through the courts. When you see them taking all these steps, sometimes some agents of judges will tell them, look, we can get them to give you this thing. Those ones are after the money. They collect the money, and then you see the politician will say, no, we'll take our mandate back. Which mandate? You'll be defeated. Roundly. So a lot of them are bad losers. That is the problem. But I'm happy that Gawuna is not one of such people. Look at Bago in Niger. Bago won his election hands down. And the PDP candidate, whom we thought could even have defeated him because he was really making tremendous waves. Yeah. He has congratulated him.
All right.
That's the way it should be.
Okay. We go on this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back.
Your favorite cash giveaway is coming this April. To win a share of the 1 million naira, be the 10th caller on Max FM. When you hear the winning song, beat the clock and win yourself free cash.
You don't win 54,000 naira!
From 6 a.m. on the Max Breakfast and throughout the day, we guarantee to give away 1 million naira in Nigeria's radio cash giveaway.
Everybody getting paid.
Max Millions.
Since I joined this program don't help me. They carry the money, give me. I take join with the money, carry go market. As you see now, my market now come be fine past before. These are asusu that we make. The money now come big fast. I take buy this thing, I feed buy what I am now, buy carry plantain. Before now only carry where how they sell. But now I don't buy what I am at. Buy potatoes, cocoyam. And thank federal government. Then may God bless you now. Up, the child don't come.
are just joining us, this is TVC News journalist Hangout, and I still have Babajide Kolade Otoju and Olayinka Oyebile in the studio.
So as I was saying, the culture of not accepting defeat, of wishing that, oh, since I've lost the election, the heavens must come down. That culture,
or democracy must stop.
That culture permeates all the political parties.
Yeah.
All these parties, whether APC or PDP, you know, especially the dominant parties, they have the same stock. They are children who came out from the same loins. They are offspring of the same parentage. So their conduct is very similar. APC will behave similar to PDP. When somebody loses at the primary election, he will go and work against the candidate who defeated him.
One,
work against his party.
Somebody that lost July last year took Bola Tinubu to court. The Supreme Court the Supreme Court just spoke today. That's Mr. Awajuba, former Minister of State for Education. Supreme Court just ruled in favor of Bola Tinubu today. You lost your party, and I told our researcher when you look at the numbers, I don't think this person.
It's just pure bitterness.
You know, some of these things. People talk about democracy being favorable when they win. Immediately they lose, they talk something else.
They say democracy is in danger.
Now, you have lost an election. This man, Gawuna in Kano, has looked at everything and said that, look, this man won fair and square.
And you know his party initially said they will contest.
Yes. And he has congratulated him. What you need to do is to go back, honestly, call your people and say, where did we go wrong? What is it that we should have done?
Yes, in the next 4 years, the tide can, can turn.
What is it that we can do to make us win next time?
Gida was contested 4 years ago.
Exactly. Now,
he contested 4 years ago.
Begin to waste time.
He lost to Governor Ganduje.
You begin to
and
waste time.
And he didn't bring the roof down.
You begin to waste time talking about this, talking about that, rather than going back to re-strategize. Behave like the ram. The ram, when it goes back, is going to gather strength. That is what they should do. I mean, the elections have been won.
These ones, when they
the
go
elections
back,
have been lost.
When they go back, they are seeking to bring the roof down.
I mean, the elections have been won and lost. Plan your strategy. What exactly did we do wrong in this election that we need to do better?
Improve?
What are the strategies that our opponent used to defeat us? Then you plan. But if you just sit down there and begin to say, no, we are not going to agree, we are going to do this, you are not.
You know what somebody even told me?
Yes.
You see, sometimes it's not because they know they can win. They are doing it to galvanize the support base so that the supporters can be happy. They say, we are doing something about it. We can still claim our mandate. So somebody who was well defeated will come out and say, no, it's a stolen mandate. The mandate was stolen. You know, that way you are saying things that your support base is happy to hear. It's not necessarily the truth.
And they know.
Some of them know. Yes, because look, if we break this thing down, it's just like in those days they used to tell me, say, you see James Bond, that is biro. That is biro, can be used as a pistol. It can also be used as this. They will tell you like 5 things that you can use, the tiny. I will now say, let's even check the mechanism. How is it possible for one biro to be able to do so many things?
All those things.
Now, for the politician who is saying that I won the election,
007.
How popular were you in some of those places? In places where you were so unpopular that you didn't even have agents. You were so absent in some places that you didn't even have agents at all, and you want to win. That should anywhere you are popular, you will have agents now. People will struggle to want to be your agent.
Exactly.
But where you are non-existent,
exactly,
you won't even have agents.
You won't.
And when you don't have agents, you have already surrendered that place, whatever happens.
That place, I know I can't.
Now, it's those places that you are claiming that you won. You must be extremely dishonest. And it is this dishonesty that some of us will not take. There's no amount of intimidation. There's no amount of intimidation that will make us
to agree
that that first election, that February 25th. Eh? That 2025 is the worst in our history. No, you will never, never be able to convince me.
See, it's a case of throwing away the baby with the bathwater. They just want to rubbish
Let's even
everything.
face this. Somebody said that, okay, if you want to rig election, will you not target the big states where you have the votes?
Of course.
Automatically.
You lost the biggest states.
Katsina.
The so-called Kardashian states, those biggest states where the votes. You lost all of those states.
And
they're still saying you rigged. You lost all the states. Even Borno, you struggled to win.
Lost Yobe.
You know,
in fact, that's
traditional. You lost Sokoto. All the big states.
Exactly. That's
You lost Lagos. Lost Lagos.
No, but you see,
Lagos and Kano, in terms of voters registration, they are the highest. Lagos is the highest, followed by Kano. You lost both states.
No, but you
lost Kaduna.
You know, in all this, there will always
so
be.
is it the small states that you now want to? That's why you want to.
There will always be an explanation they want to give you, the reason why it happened like that. But in all honesty, when you look at it,
so we look at NNPP in the state. I'm sure this is the only state that recorded over 1 million votes for governorship.
Yes.
So how do you begin?
And in Kano, if they want to vote, they will vote.
So how do you begin to argue about this now?
The votes from Kano Metropolis will scare you.
They will vote because if they could adduce over 400,000 to give Senator Shekarau, that the party
was not on the ballot.
It was not on the ballot. And they still got 400,000 votes
on Kano Central.
That could win some states. In
the last election, 2019, Shekarau scored the highest by any senatorial contestant. Senatorial candidate. He scored the highest.
Over million votes.
You know? So Kano is just special. You know, they don't call them to Bingiwa for nothing. The belly of the elephant.
Where you have a lot of things. You find a lot of things in the belly of an elephant.
You can only envision what the entrails
in the belly of the elephant.
For the presidential election.
Koda Mekazo, Africa. That's what they say now.
Kwankwaso almost made it to 1 million.
Yes, just 3,000 short of 1 million.
And the nearest, 500 and something. So
now look at the runner-up, 500 and something vote. And now look at the third position.
Now this 517 to 131 is the highest margin that Tinubu scored over Atiku in northern Nigeria. And Atiku never had this kind of margin in all of the 19 states of the north. So Kano was crucial, in spite of Tinubu not picking Kano, not taking Kano. Kano was crucial to his winning the election.
Exactly.
Because Atiku chased this margin. He kept chasing this margin.
400
and could not surmount that margin. This is an audacious margin. The definition of an audacious margin.
Kano people.
Tumbingiwa.
When they brought 1.9 million votes.
The belly of the elephant.
Buhari 2015. I said it's all over.
Yes, now. You know
the other states, they were just training.
No, you will never catch.
You can never.
Brought the whole of South.
When Kano shows up, the rest of the people disappear.
In all honesty, Kano, that's political awareness is there from the beginning to the end. No matter how young they are, no matter how young any boy, any person is.
He's politically aware.
Exactly.
Politically aware.
He's politically aware.
And current.
So that's why I would say a big shame to Lagos. Because
they don't come out.
No.
What do you register for? What do you register for when you will not use?
No, most people registered because
people that will participate in the old exercise.
No, most people registered because maybe you need something from the state government. They might ask that.
No, I remember even some states that were using it, that if you don't bring your this, they'll deny you certain.
Exactly.
So you see, political culture is political culture.
Exactly.
You know, that is the thing. Kano, see, when we talk about, Kano used a woman as vice presidential candidate since the Second Republic. How many presidential candidates have used women?
No.
As vice presidential candidates since that time?
Not if...
He used a Yoruba woman
as
vice presidential candidate since Second Republic, Kano. So Kano is different. You can't compare Kano to any other state. That's the thing.
Different class.
That political awareness is very strong.
They say, Koda mekazo amfika. That whatever it is that you come with, in Kano you meet your match.
Exactly.
You meet people
no
who are
matter
better
what.
than you.
No matter what.
That's Kano for you.
Koda
mekazo
I'll visit
amfika.
you soon. I'll visit us this soon. And finally, as it is said, there is no smoke without fire. What started like mere smoke about an interim national government in Nigeria is gradually turning out to be a fire that needs to be urgently quenched. The Department of State Services, DSS, says it has uncovered a plot for an interim government in the country, as well as the key players involved in this plot. According to a press statement signed by the Public Relations Officer of the DSS, Peter Afunaya, the planners had weighed various options, which include sponsoring violent mass protests in major cities to warrant a declaration of a state of emergency, take note, as well as obtaining frivolous court injunctions to forestall the inauguration of the new administrations and legislative houses at the federal and state level. Jide, this is taking this thing too far.
Yes,
I thought that any battle after the election will be taken to court, and from the Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court, and whatever the Supreme Court says, fine.
Well,
go and after 4 years, come back again. But Nigerians are talking about extra.
They are trying to take extra legal steps to plunge the country into crisis, to make the country ungovernable. And they've also tried to drive a wedge between Tinubu and Buhari. Say all kinds of things. You know, that Buhari said he will not hand over to this person, this and that.
Who was there
when did Buhari say that? You know, when people come up with, say a source.
A source close.
That's what.
That's what
my Oga used to call Agbeleko. You just sit down in your office. You don't have a story.
Weak attribution.
You know, you don't have a story. You just sit down, generate a fake story. And you know, this is actually the season of Agbeleko, really. You know, people. You don't even know what to believe.
You know what?
Let's quickly pay this bill. When we come back, we'll talk more.
She had a mandate to make the Federal Government Housing Board an envious institution in Nigeria's public service. She delivered and discharged every duty in a transparent approach. Dr. Hannatu Adamu, former director of the Federal Government Staff Housing Loans Board, recorded housing loans for middle and low-income civil servants. Adamu introduced a database system to access, track, and monitor records of applicants and beneficiaries of housing loans, thereby reducing corruption to its barest minimum. In 1987, Adamu developed a policy that gave birth to the Better Life for Rural Women in Nigeria, a pet project of late Mariam Babangida to improve the quality of life of Nigerian women. Dr. Hannatu Adamu, transparent, incorruptible, accountable, an iconic woman of our time. An iconic woman of our time is an initiative of St. Ives Communications, Women Radio, Voice of Women, and supported by the MacArthur Foundation.
All right, reaching home stretch.
You know, the issue of interim government, if we cast our mind back, long before the election, it was Chief Afe Babalola that first talked about it. That what we need now is not an election. but an interim government that will reorganize Nigeria and all that. But if you go and ask Baba now, the elections have been held, a winner has emerged. Which interim government, again, are you talking about? As the late Abiola would always say, you cannot abort
a born baby.
A born baby. The election has been won. If you have evidence or evidences to say that it was not won fair and square, the courts are there.
Yes.
So why are you talking about the interim government? So when you have an interim government now, what will be the excuse? And the interim government what will it do? And then the man that has been declared as the winner, what are you going to do with it? Look, these people who are talking about this is either they don't know, they don't look at elections in Nigeria, or they don't know what they are saying. Why do we have what we call off-season elections? If tomorrow, May 29, Asiwaju is sworn in, and they go to court and they find out we are going to have another election, is that not what brought the issue of off-season election in Osun, Anambra, and the rest of them? So why will you now say that an election that has been won, then we should have an interim government?
Declared.
What will be the legitimacy of the interim government? And for the DSS, I think they are also complicating the issue. If you know the people who are behind this, the APC has said,
round them off.
Round them off. The PDP itself has said, round them off. So what are you waiting for? They should not begin to spin stories around somebody calls for interim. Why should the DSS alert us that some people are planning and we know them? If you know them, please go and arrest them. You don't need the permission of the president or anybody to arrest such people, because what they are doing is treason. They are the democracy that we fought for, and just like the other day, some characters went to the military defense headquarters and were talking. I mean, in fact, I'm so
misguided youth.
I mean, what exactly? These are people.
They don't understand.
These are people who perhaps they didn't know.
They don't understand. Most of them, how old are they?
So,
and you know the thing is beyond the
interim government is not even the issue now.
These are young people who don't read.
Yeah.
Who don't understand.
If you have a little knowledge of history, you know that the military, the worst civilian regime is better than the best military regime.
I'm sure people inside the defense headquarters today.
Now people have freedom. Now people have freedom. Some of the nonsense that they are writing on Twitter and other places.
Oh my God!
If you do it to a military,
no, Twitter will not operate in Nigeria. That's the military government.
How? No, they will shut down. They will pick them. They will waste them. They will waste them. We are the press, doing Abacha now.
We know
how many people paid with their lives.
Exactly.
Some of them are our colleagues.
Yes. Newspaper, Guardian newspaper, they were just proscribing
innocent people. They will lie against you that you can't.
Journalists cannot. You cannot even identify yourself as a journalist.
What are we talking about?
So all this talk.
People don't even understand what they are saying.
No.
Because you just... And these boys is their own version of facts alone that they accept.
Yeah.
There is not, they are not ready for a healthy argument because they are not even clear-headed enough to argue lucidly. So whatever it is, they turn it to a fight. They will abuse you.
Nigeria will become a kind of outcast in the international community because ECOWAS, African Union, everybody will...
It's our presidents that have even been... When Gambia, when the military struck in Gambia, remember what happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was President Buhari
who
told the guy, leave that place. He didn't want to leave.
You know,
we sent the Air Force, our Air Force alone. And then they flew our fighter jets very low
Close.
on top of his house.
Yeah.
You know the noise. If you've been to where fighter jets are taking off.
This our
No,
super Tucano.
no, Kano will not even make. When an Alpha jet makes noise, you know that. Or even the MI 35P, the noise that they can generate.
That one alone.
They flew low on top of his
Yeah.
house. After that, he said he wanted to speak with our president.
Straight.
Yes. They then sent an aircraft to him. They took him away. He agreed to leave office. This one is not fiction. I'm telling you what I know.
Is what happened.
It's not happened.
We said, initially when
you
we
see-
reported that Nigeria, when I think one of the papers reported that they were sending Nigerian Air Force to that place,
Yes.
they even arrested our friends who
ran the story.
On Premium Times. But in the end, that was what happened. We used our jet, our fighter jet, we used it to harass the military ruler. Nobody told him before he left. He left office.
He gave up and said no.
I said military ruler, the president who wanted to sit tight. Sorry, I mixed it up. You know? So we have resisted military rule in Africa. Nigeria has done that well. Then sit tight president. Because that
Gambia guy.
Yaya didn't want to go.
He didn't, yeah.
So it was our president that told him, look, it's time to leave. We won't tolerate this. And he was still doing younger until we sent Air Force to go and teach him a lesson. Nobody told him when he said, now I'm ready to speak.
I'm ready to leave.
You know?
So in all honesty, as I said earlier on, this thing, bring your facts, take it to the tribunal or the Supreme Court or whatever, and let them decide.
If you are convinced that the facts are substantial,
Exactly.
if they are
Let the court
substantial,
run.
why are you
So
afraid?
there's no need asking people, let us come out and demonstrate. No.
Or telling
all
people
that.
to stop the inauguration.
No.
If you send
They
the
are
children
waiting.
to
They are
this
waving
way-
at a train that has already left the
No,
station. That one.
even now, the place is protected. And the inauguration is a long time ago.
tell
But
you.
they are not taking
So,
chances.
I mean,
So I think 60 days to go now.
Yes, you see this before a new government steps in.
So, yeah.
All we want is an improvement in the well-being of the Nigerian. That's what some of us are committed to. That's what this program is committed to. We are not loyal to anybody. If Tinubu gets to office and doesn't deliver, we will criticize him.
Breakfast. Yeah.
Yes, we will criticize him. I said that boldly.
you know, that's why I.
We will criticize him.
That's
It's as
why
simple as that.
even before the election, I said that I don't envy
What
whoever
are they
is going
talking
to
about?
succeed.
Breakfast.
So
It's our job. That's our job.
It's going to be a very, very tough task, and I'm sure he knows.
We know it will be tough. The first 6 months will be tough.
Yes.
But ultimately, we expect him to deliver.
Oh, yes.
If he does not deliver,
That's promised Nigeria.
you will hear us here criticize him.
So
Mark my word. Record what I'm saying.
It is.
Because
he
the
knows
president must do his best for the Nigerian people.
Every load
It's as
that is
simple
on
as
his
that.
shoulders.
That's what we're committed to do.
That's what we are committed to do.
Online Igule PhD, thank you for your contribution. And Babajide Kolade Utitoju will do it again tomorrow. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another edition of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us this Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout special. That's our Sunday. It's Journalist Hangout. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Baton in one hand, gavel in the other. Always one stamped while delivering justice. She lived the life of a spy, touched the untouchables, held Nigeria's politicians accountable, and sent one to jail. Farida Mzamba Waziri, the first female executive chair of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, tackled corruption without fear or favor and recorded Nigeria's first advanced fee fraud case, popularly called 419. Farida joined Nigeria's police force in 1965 and rose to the position of assistant